Came to see some lightning-fast punches? Prepare to see about 1 million, and in quick succession. Welcome back to another Top 25 Countdown here on Boxing Legends TV. Today, we present the ultimate list of boxing's most elite rapid-fire pugilists.
Thomas really nailed! Big left hook, big right hand! Down it goes, big left Thomas!
It feels like an eternity since we've uploaded one of these, but today's video will stand above all others before and after. Raw clips, performance cards, key stats, and most importantly, a migraine for the poor men that had to share the ring with them.
Now Ortiz is gonna... Oh my God!
The fighters will be ranked by pound for pound, so you might see a few slightly slower, bigger guys higher up, but I can assure you, to make this list, you've got to be a speed demon of the highest order.
Young competitive fighter instead of just a whole name fighter.
First up, we have the currently active George Linares.
Quiere acabar esto, señores. No está viendo de nuevo el de Venezuela atacando.
Siento que los dos están cortados.
Good work from Linares.
There are only a handful of fighters listed today that still participate in the sport, but I think it's fair to say the lightweight warrior has proven his deadly fast hands at world level long enough to earn a spot.
But it would be an upset. Oh, down goes Campbell on a right hand by Linares.
Lou Duva was asking for back in that between the 6th and 7th round. And Eddie Hobson pouring it on.
Good activity for Hobson. He can put 10, 12 punches together. Right now, Sonny Long doesn't really know what to do.
Whoa, look out, he's going for more. There's 3. Is there one more? There is.
If you're wondering who the hell Eddie Hobson is, don't be alarmed. I can actually imagine there are a few hardcore fans watching this thinking the same thing.
Well, it was obvious that he could not deal with the hand speed of Eddie Hobson tonight. Another step in the development of Eddie Hobson. Now back to Sam.
This once standout teenage amateur failed to leave much of a legacy as a pro. In all honesty, he had the tools to be an elite champion, but was never the same after suffering his first defeat at 26-0.
Eddie, he won the...
You'll struggle to find a YouTube video with more than 1,000 views with Hobson in the title, which is sad considering the talent he possessed. A fantastic boxer mover that could strike like lightning from all angles.
Undefeated Eddie Hobson in the white trunks, and he floors Hector Monjardin.
Oh, good combination by Judah. Pouring it on. No doubt hoping to finish with a knockout.
Then you would have had a problem. I'd be really upset. Whoa. Combination from Judah followed by a left.
Zab Judah is a name you'll see pop up on many lists like this. However, it's vital the clips presented are from back when he still had a bit of hair on his head. Sure, they're a bit grainier in terms of visual quality, but it's before the 2000s when his speed and reflexes were at their most ferocious.
Evidence of that here in the opening minutes.
You know, it's interesting. Negron said he's hard to hit with 2 punches clean. He's hard to catch up with.
Super Zab might be the face of boxing memes nowadays, but he was admittedly a top draw contender in his day.
It was no big secret that Zab Judah, as an amateur, was actually sparring with Pernell Whitaker. And the stories were that he would hold his own.
Here, Johnny loads up the right hand, left hook again. Oh, the big turn on that right hand.
You don't need to be trained like this.
There were so many things to love about Johnny Tapia, with his amazing fighting style being just one of them.
Angles. He's embarrassing the WBA's #1 contender. What can I tell you?
One of the most unique boxers in history for the way he could knuckle down and trade in the center of the ring. Tapia had that crazy sort of speed that looked sped up at times, but I can assure you, like all the other clips in this video, it hasn't been manipulated in any way.
That real power. Look at that. Whoa. Whoa, what a thump as Walker hits the canvas.
North, the finishing man puts another 2 rights down the pipe.
They were down the pipe. It was a good comeback.
Terrible Terry Norris was an explosive beast in his prime. If his opponent showed a slight glimpse of weakness, he would pounce faster than a starving cheetah, whether the bell had sounded or not.
Round 3. And they fight after the bell.
Outside of his dirty tactics, he was also known for his impressive hand speed and combinations, something the legendary Sugar Ray Leonard had to find out the hard way.
Body blow landed by Terry Norris. Inside of 10, Norris.
Nothing else you can do about it. Here pretty soon? Absolutely. Take a look at this fight.
His face is
sign of it in the 80s, because even if he should be foolish enough to take another fight, he shouldn't be given the license to.
The future world champion Terry Norris. This is my last fight. Thank you for coming out. God bless you all.
Remember, Gardner has never been stopped, but he is now. Look at those heads. The unending combination. And they're running it. He lost his concentration.
Michael Dokes defies the standard model of a speedster. He's a heavyweight, slightly chubby, and for much of his career, an alcoholic and drug addict.
I think it was supposed to happen like that. It taught me a great lesson.
Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson reap all the praise when it comes to quick heavyweights. But I think Dokes lets his shots fly just as fast, if not faster.
The opening round scheduled for 12.
He's the first fighter that I fought. You know, as a heavyweight, he had quick hands just like mine. Whatever I hit him with it, he hit me back. If I hit him 3 times, he hit me 3 times.
Holyfield is taking big shots. Oh, he's gotten hurt. He's got Holyfield in some trouble here.
His corner told him when Tony rolled to go underneath. He keeps going on top.
Tony with magnificent hand speed.
Left and right. Down goes Delgado. That'll be it.
While James Toney will always be renowned for his defensive wizardry during his prime, you'll have to give credit where it's due and rank him amongst the top middleweights of all time in terms of hand speed as well.
I got milk, baby. Who's next?
Toney has an incredible 30-year career in professional boxing, winning countless titles across countless divisions. While I enjoy watching an overweight James toy with the guys up at cruiser and heavyweight, nothing compares to the slim 160-pound version of himself. A good 6 to 7 years of pure destruction. It's probably no surprise that the greatest boxer of this generation makes the list, and it could quite easily be for the slick, pot-shotting style during the tail end of his career.
Sticks the right hand, and there's a counter left hook to the body by Canelo. But Mayweather keeping him at bay with the jab.
People often overlook just how fast Floyd can throw a single punch, especially for a man in his mid-30s. Still, he makes it at number 14 for the way he took fighters apart for the first 10 or so years of his career.
Took a left hook, grabbed the back.
Floyd Mayweather is supposed to win. He's a virtuoso in his prime. Only complacency truly can endanger him.
Steele, De La Hoya with the punishment. And that's it. That's it.
Oscar De La Hoya turned pro in 1992, and it wasn't until the turn of the century where he started to suffer the defeats we see on his record today. During that time, he fought Hall of Fame legends back-to-back and took them apart with rapid-fire combinations.
Lyndon
Even the great Julio Cesar Chavez admitted he'd never seen speed like De La Hoya's.
Chavez at this point now blood from the nose of Julio Cesar Chavez.
I personally think Oscar is one of the most underrated fighters in the modern era. Glance over that resume and watch back some of the old tapes. A formidable talent beat only by himself.
Duarte holding on. 14th round. Mitch Halpern looking on. Halpern's close. He's close.
What a brave man Oscar De La Hoya is. Expected. He said he's not looking for the Tyson of 1 Brazilian Mathis. Here's a combination uppercut by Tyson. Tyson laid it on, pouring it on. Down goes Bruno into the rope. Tyson flips him with the left hand. Look at that.
Tyson moves in for the kill. 2 uppercuts to the left hand.
Now the right combination.
I hope you didn't think that we were going to miss out on Kid Dynamite. Mike Tyson set the model for how all short heavyweights should take to the ring against these modern-day dinosaurs.
Tyson misses a left and then lands a pulverizing left that sends Foley crashing to the canvas.
Many regard Tyson as the fastest heavyweight of all time, which is fair enough, but to think many regard him as one of the hardest hitters as well, geez, you just have to feel sorry for his opponents.
I didn't challenge me with their somewhat primitive skills. They're just as good as dead.
If he can beat this man, there's another one. There's a big left hook. Why not stop it now?
White top. Trying to land two. Another hard right hand. Stone is in trouble. Left hook. And Jay Nady stops the fight. That is a flat-out knockout.
Another entrant that might raise a few eyebrows, but when Shane Mosley burst onto the scene in the mid-90s, fight fans around the world were truly believing this might be the next pound-for-pound star.
Big left hand by Mosley. Oscar De La Hoya unfazed. Mosley landing again.
Mosley is another one of those guys that fought the who's who of everybody from his era. A three-weight world champion that, if he didn't whip your ass, would certainly go down trying. A future Hall of Famer for sure.
Mosley. Another big right hand. Mayweather's knees buckled on the second right hand. Good left hand to the body, right to the chin, down goes Impavo.
It pains me to watch back at young Gamboa and wonder how great he might have been if it wasn't for his promotional problems.
No rings around my eye, ain't no blood coming out my nose. That should indicate I haven't been in there with Gamboa.
Before his loss to Terrence Crawford in 2014, Gamboa was running through world champions with staggering ease, consistently firing off some of the most visually pleasing combinations you'll ever see.
To prepare physically for this. Oh! Sega did not. Wow!
Fast. Last night I cut the light off my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was gone.
Come on. This isn't competition anymore. This is a bloodline. This is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that is a tough spot in there with Clay peppering him, and down he goes.
Muhammad Ali takes the number 10 slot due to his breathtaking performances during the 60s. His slick upper body movement and mesmerizing footwork made him as close to being untouchable as possible. Then you accompany that with his stunning power and blitzing hand speed, and you're left with a man worthy of the greatest alias.
But the man's in trouble. I'm going to show you how great I am.
Continues to fire resolutely in round 6. And that comes straight down the middle. Although that left hand. Body shot with the left thigh back down.
The boxing world had never quite seen a prime fighter like Manny Pacquiao before. Not just because he blitzed through 8 weight divisions, but rather the manner and how he dealt with elite world champions back to back.
Fire against fire. Down the stretch.
One of my personal favorites of all time, Manny was a true champion in and out of the ring. He took on every challenge life could throw at him and conquered them all in devastating fashion. From the year 2000 to 2010, we witnessed one of the greatest primes in any boxer's career. Although many will argue Floyd was a better fighter, you can't deny the entertainment value Manny brought to the ring.
I can handle his punches, he's just too fast. Was that basically the story of the fight?
Yeah, he was too fast. Fucker was too fast.
Just as the undefeated Rocky Marciano called it a day, and just before the Big Bear Sonny Liston crushed everything in his path, a man by the name of Floyd Patterson reigned as the #1 heavyweight in the world. Patterson had unprecedented skills. He could leap 5 feet across the ring and land a 4-punch combination in the blink of an eye, so fast it could be missed by the viewers at home. For me, Patterson is the fastest heavyweight in history. At his best, it was like watching a bigger version of Sugar Ray Robinson.
Decent chance, right again. Blistering speed from Khan. Macho. Plenty of heart, plenty of skill.
Although Amir Khan is one of the most heavily criticized fighters in the modern game, there's absolutely no denying that he's one of the fastest punchers in history.
Khan blocking the right hand with his glove. And it's not caught here, but his confidence isn't. Blocking. The eyes of judges, incidentally. At least 40 up. And down goes Maidana.
When Amir enters the ring, he lays it all on the line. Even with a proven glass jaw, he continually leaves himself exposed just to let his hands do what they do best, which as a fan is hard to watch, but makes for unmissable TV for casual viewers.
He's all over the place.
Let's get hand speed on him.
And it's all over.
He said, walking into Camacho's like walking into a machine gun net. You gotta move.
And he's going to have to throw 3 or 4 or 5, 6 shots. Risk missing a lot of them, just so he can get them going.
Right hand there.
At number 6, it's Macho time as we look back at one of boxing's greatest shows.
In Florida, he's a 3-time world champion, undefeated with a record of 38-0. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Macho time. He's the WBO Junior Welterweight Champion of the world, Hector Macho Camacho.
Hector Camacho wasn't everyone's favorite prospect as he began climbing the ranks in the early 80s. The guy was cocky as hell and could often be quite disrespectful in the ring, but as time passed, our hearts grew fonder of this Puerto Rican street kid that was just living life to the max and enjoying his job.
Just tune in, keep watching me. What can I tell you? It's Macho time.
Right for the kill, a right and a left to the chin, and Walzak is down again.
Now it's time to separate the boys from the men. Sugar Ray Robinson comes in at number 5 for his jaw-dropping speed during the 1950s.
So Graziano has scored the first knockdown. And there goes his mouthpiece, and Graziano hits the canvas.
Just bear in mind, there's no fight footage of him in his true prime 6 or 7 years prior to this, where it's reported by the men at ringside he was much faster and punched considerably harder.
Oh, I saw him at his best, and he was the best fighter ever lived, pound for pound.
Robinson is regarded by many of the sport's top-tier historians as the greatest of all time. It isn't exactly hard to see why.
Pound for pound, when they say Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter pound for pound, meaning that I imagine if he was a heavyweight fighting the same style, he'd be the greatest.
Capitol Heights, Maryland, very compactly built, possibly a pair of the fastest hands in the sport. Touched him with the left hand, the body, the right hand. What a shot! And just like that.
As we reach number 4, I think it's a good time to remind people that the clips in this video are not sped up. Because when you cut down Gary Russell Jr.'s best moments, you're left with some pretty unbelievable footage.
The second of Gary Russell's professional debut knocked out. Can't be saved by the bell.
Although Gary is only 30 years old and currently at the height of his career, it's impossible not to notice the slight dip in hand speed. Rewind the clock 7 or 8 years and you might be looking at the fastest fighter in history, but he just didn't quite do it at the level of the men above him.
Trying to win, now he's getting driven back. Steve Smoger taking a big look. Let's watch. And Steve Smoger's seen it off.
Fly, hoping to nail Melwood Taylor, his only chance, but he's catching now as he comes in.
Open in there, fight very early. Good exchange in the middle of the ring.
During the 1984 LA Olympics, we saw a rise in hot young prospects. 9 out of the 12 gold medalists were from the U.S. Tyrell Biggs, Henry Tillman, Mark Breland, and Frank Tate are a few notable ones, but none shone quite as bright as the frenetic Meldrick Taylor.
In the red corner, Meldrick Taylor of the United States of America.
He won every second of every round on his route to gold, and unlike the other medalists that year, his talents correlated into the pros program.
Similar to this type of...
Oh, there goes the ball. There's a flinch.
Fight's over.
There goes the mouthpiece. Frank Cappuccino ends it.
Taylor was sadly never the same after his devastating first loss to Julio Cesar Chavez. He continued to fight for many years after, but it was clear he suffered some sort of brain damage in that fight.
What Meldrick was landing on Chavez, as soon as they landed, the effect was gone. But what Chavez was landing on Meldrick had to carry those punches around with him till the end of the fight, like luggage.
Combinations, so long, Timber. What a series of punches.
The knee, off balance, ready to fall to the floor. With much better power than he's given credit for. Hitting him with combination of punches. A southpaw, and so many of them are. Sugar Ray, look at those hands. The unending combination, right early on. How many are getting through? Well, at least some.
Sugar Ray Leonard epitomized the saying, "Speed kills." Within his first 10 years of being pro, he became a champion in 5 different weight categories, beating some of the sport's greatest pugilists along the way. Ray crammed so much greatness into 40 fights, it's incredible. He could be a bit of a diva at times, but the big fights were always made in good time. Just look back on that resume. Unprecedented.
Of Bryant putting up a big fight against Roy Jones. And their man is just getting hammered in there now.
can call me biased all you want for having Roy Jones Jr. at number 1, but I don't think any fighter from the 160-pound limit and up has ever put the combinations together quite like Roy.
So some guys seem to be forgetting and thinking that I'm a nice guy or something. I am nice, but I'm awful crucial with these hands.
We had to keep the fighter bios quite short for this video, considering we had to cover 25 of them. But if you're new around here and want to learn more, just check back through our content and I'm sure you'll be able to find a deeper look into the stories and skill sets of most guys listed. Thanks for watching, fight fans. Until next time, this is Boxing Legends TV, signing off.